You must be Margaret Kennedy, is that right?
That's me, honey. Nice place you have here.
Well, I hope you still think so. In 20 years' time. 10, if you behave yourself.
If I'm still here.
Settle down, Kennedy. You're a prisoner here, not a guest.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Thank you, Miss Ferguson. I'll take charge from here. Come on, Kennedy, stand on the white line. Over here. Face the front. Your name is Margaret May Kennedy, correct?
It certainly is, ma'am.
You have been charged with illegal importation of narcotics and sentenced to 20 years imprisonment. Is that correct?
That's what the man said. Yes, ma'am. Do I get a cell to myself?
No, you'll be sharing with a woman about your age.
Oh, I'm not too keen on bunking with an oldie. They get a bit funny, you know.
Oh, you'll get used to it.
And no men either, I suppose.
No. Sorry.
Oh, well. The rest will do me good. Oh, plenty of storage space for my few things.
Well, I wouldn't speak too soon. You'll find you'll collect enough over the years. Pretty soon, you'll probably be complaining about there not being enough room, like the rest of them.
Well, I might have known you wouldn't even let the bed get cold before you shoved someone else in it.
And the work bell hasn't gone yet, Smith.
Just on my way to the loo, Mrs. Powell.
Am I sharing with you?
No, this used to be mine. But they were afraid I might get too settled after 14 years. Name's B. Smith.
Oh, hi. I'm Maggie Kennedy.
Oh, a geriatric drug peddler.
Okay, that's enough. Listen, you behave yourself. And, keep your hands off. A repeat of the Tyler episode and you'll be in big trouble.
And by the looks of this one, she isn't going to make the distance anyway. So why should I bother?
Huh? Pleasant type. Was her daddy Attila the Hun?
A word of warning about that one. She's got a thing about drugs, especially pushes.
Oh, very commendable, too. Are there many like her here?
A few.
Well, I shall have to keep an eye open, won't I? Well, hi. So, you're my new roommate.
Yes, unfortunately. But don't think it was my idea.
Well, I don't suppose any of us have much to say in that department. I'm Maggie Kennedy.
Yes, I know, Bea told me. Lizzie Birdsworth. He and me used to share. We've been mates for years.
So I gathered. She didn't exactly welcome me with open arms.
I'm not surprised seeing what you're in here for.
I think they thought we'd have a lot in common.
Fat chance of that.
I don't know. I think we have a great deal in common.
Like what?
Like cooking damper in the ashes of an open fire on the Barwon River, or a wild party at a sheep station near Colerainbrai that went on for 3 nights, and a certain young lady poured a billy of beer over her husband's head because she thought he was getting too fresh with the station manager's wife. And that certain lady can still get on her high horse over a matter of principle. But can she still cook damper and scones like she used to?
How do you know all that? I've never met you before. You're a bloody Yank.
Oh, yeah? You used to call me a bloody pommy. Look a little closer, Lizzie. Peel away 40 years of wrinkles and 2 husbands, and you'll see a station manager's young wife in northwestern New South Wales in the 30s.
Mullins. Maggie Mullins. I don't believe it.
Oh, you better believe it, you bugger.
Oh, Maggie! Do you mean that you knew it was drugs?
Well, I didn't exactly inquire, but, well, I figured it had to be drugs or diamonds or something. You don't get paid a small fortune for toting old newspapers round the world.
But heroin.
I know, the hard stuff, but, well, I didn't know, did I? walked away before they gave me the van. All I could think of were those greenbacks and tropical nights in the Riviera.
Maggie Mullins, you always did live in a dream world, but I didn't think you'd ever be taken for a sucker. Bee'll have your guts for garters. She hates anything to do with drugs.
Oh, she'll just think I was an old lady led up the garden path.
I hope so. If she finds out that you knew, you'll be wishing that you were back in Tallahassee.
Oh, Tallahassee, honey. Oh, you haven't changed a bit.
Now,
Pleased to meet you. Oh,
that's the press over there, and that's me very best mate, Bee.
yeah, we have met. Howdy.
She ought to be in a home, not the slammer. You'd think they give them a break when they're that old. What do you mean, old? I'm nearly her age if I'm a day.
Oh, that's what getting on does to a girl. She used to swear she was older than me.
Well, who is oldest then?
She is. So where'd you two ducks meet up, anyway? Oh, we met in the early 30s, didn't we, love? I used to cook on her husband's station every shearing season for 5 years. God, we used to get up to some drinking wet.
But you've been living in the States, haven't you?
Sure, ever since the war.
What's it like over there?
Oh, can't wait to get back there. And with a little bit of luck, I shall soon be drinking martinis in Manhattan.
How'd you figure that?
Well, my lawyer's working on it. We hope to get an extradition order.
Oh, but you've only just come home.
Oh, I love you too, honey. But that's where all my family is.
That'd be a whole lot better for your health, too. Honey.
She was set up, Bee. It was planted on her, and by her friends. You wouldn't be suspecting any of your friends now, would you?
Some friends. Oh, what a fool they took me for. And they were right. Well, as far as I was concerned, they were doing me a favor, asking me to deliver that van. Look at the wonderful holiday I had, coming through the continent.
And you had no idea what was in it?
Well, I did have a nickel in the back of my mind, but, well, all I could think of was the trip. And I just kept hoping it was diamonds or pictures or something.
Of course you did.
What bastard's taking advantage of an old girl like that?
All right. So you're innocent. Then what are you doing in here?
It's the system. That's what it is.
Well, hi. Are you looking for Lizzie?
No. Just checking. How's your first day? Any problems?
Just getting it all down. I never miss a day. I've got diaries at home that go back for 25 years.
Well, I don't think you'll be filling them in quite so fast in here. Unless, of course, you've got one hell of an imagination.
Oh, then you don't know Lizzie and me. I've got 42 years of good gossip to fill every page.
You two know each other.
Oh, Lizzie Birdsworth and I go back to, well, before your time. We're practically family.
Oh, God, that must be quite a reunion.
I'll say. Yes, all we need is a bottle of bourbon to celebrate, but I suppose that's out of the question here, even if one had the money.
Before you go any further, I think you should know that bribing an officer can land you a long spell in solitary.
Bribery? Oh, good lordy. Last time I tried to bribe anyone, I ended up walking down the aisle with him. Certainly learnt my lesson.
Well, I'll let you get on with it.
I know how to cheer you up, Lizzie. Now, how would you like a nice little tipple later on? Courtesy of Wentworth.
Hey, where are you going to get it from?
Oh, I have my ways. Oh!
What's the matter?
I don't know, Mrs. M. It just happened.
Oh, it's my chest. Oh, it's gone again. I should just have to lie down.
Yes, I think you better. I'll get Sister to have a look at you. All right, ladies, get a move on. There's only 45 minutes at the end of work, Bill.
That doesn't sound too good, does it?
All right, let's have a listen to your chest. Yes, it's a little difficult to tell with you coughing like that. Maybe we should have you examined by a doctor.
Oh, I don't want a doctor. I've had enough doctors to last a lifetime. Besides, what could a doctor do to a poor old lady like me? Unless he could whip me up an entire body transplant.
Well, I don't think we'll have to go that far. Some cough mixture ought to do the trick.
Well, back home, I always kept a bottle of Freemantle handy. That way, I wasn't always running to the doctor and pestering him.
We're bound to have something similar in here. I'll go and check and bring you something back.
Thank you, sister. Oh, and sister, if I could keep the bottle handy here in the cell, so I don't keep waking people up in the night with my wheezing. It's mostly at night that my attacks come on.
All right. I'll check with the governor and see if that'd be allowed. Now, in the meantime, you rest. I'd prefer she stayed here and didn't go back to work this afternoon. She's obviously quite weakened by that coughing fit.
Fine. I'll get someone to pop in and check on her from time to time.
Now, for a nice little nightcap. See what the kind sister left us?
Caution may cause drowsiness. Advised not to take while driving.
Oh, that's all okay. I didn't bring the Cadillac with me.
It's bloody cough mixture.
Oh, you can be real thick sometimes, Lizzie. Go on, what else does it say?
To be taken during the night or at 4 hours.
The small print, honey, the small print.
High-grade medicinal alcohol. Oh, Maggie Mullins, you old bugger!
Whoopsie.
Right, come along, ladies. The bell's gone. Oh, come on. Wake up. Lizzie.
God, what time is it, Mrs. M?
Time you were up and in the showers. Oh. Hey, you all right?
Oh, yes, just a bit tired, that's all.
Oh, what on earth's the matter with the two of you this morning? Come on. Come on. No, you don't. I want you both up and out of this cell within 1 minute. I suppose you think you've been very clever. Well, I wonder what the governor will think of this deceitful little prank. You'll both report to her straight after breakfast.
Believe me, Mrs. Reynolds, I wouldn't break the rules for the world. Well, it was all a misunderstanding. I didn't know there was alcohol in that stuff.
That's hard to believe, Kennedy. Mrs. Morris's report states you asked for that cough mixture by name.
Yes, but that is because Lizzie told me to. You see, I've had this terrible cough, and Lizzie's been sort of looking after me. Well, on account of I've not been inside before, and, well, she knows the ropes. And, of course, I took her word for it. Of course, if I thought for a moment that she... Well, I don't want to get her into any trouble.
All right. But just remember what I said. Is Birdsworth outside, Mrs. Powell?
She is. Shall I bring her in?
Yes, please. That'll be all, Kennedy.
Well, there was just one more thing, Mrs. Reynolds. I don't want to be a nuisance, but, well, I do need to see my lawyer. I'm anxious to get on with my appeal.
All right. Mrs. Powell, perhaps you'd get someone to take Kennedy to a phone, would you?
Shall do.
Thank you, ma'am.
Come on.
So you don't want to get me into any trouble, eh? Well, you've got a very funny way of going about it.
Come in, Lizzie.
Let's go, ma'am.
Mr. Perkins, you don't know how things work back home. Once I get there, I can really start the ball rolling. Why, I've got contacts, people who can pull strings for me to even get me a new trial. And they won't convict me again. The whole of the state revolves round mum and apple pie. It'll be practically treason to put me away. And even if they did, I'd soon be out on parole.
Mrs. Kennedy, are you suggesting something illegal?
Mr. Perkins, perish the thought. No, I am only trying to establish my innocence. I have never had any trouble with the law in my life. Thank you, Mrs. Morris.
It's all right, Kennedy. It's my job.
California, here I come.
Thought it was Florida.
That's a song, you stupid drongo. He didn't give you any argument about taking it.
He was happy to. And he says they're already talking about extradition. Once your letter hits the press, things will really snowball.
Well, good for you.
And I owe it all to you, Bee. No, I won't forget. I always pay my dues.
Well, as long as you get out of here and don't ever come back. Not like some people.
Will you give it a rest?
You reckon you're going home?
Sure looks like it.
And Bee fixed it for you.
Well, she helped. She's been a real pal.
That's because she thinks you're innocent. But I know you from old. I reckon you knew you were carrying that heroin. Right or wrong? Yeah, thought so. You just wait till Bee finds out. She'll have your guts for garters.
But you wouldn't tell her, Lizzie. I mean, we're mates.
Wouldn't I just? I like to choose my mates. And you're not on my list.
Member for South Vale, Mr.
Hush.
George Waring, called for confirmation that the United States ambassador had applied for an extradition order due to Mrs. Kennedy's advanced age. Those stories and more coming up soon on Eyewitness News.
Looks as though your letter has really started things to snowball, Bee.
I doubt it. They would only just have got it. Give it a chance, though. Once the do-gooders get into the act, you could be out of here in no time.
What I am saying is that our Aussies don't want to do a full day's work for a full day's pay. They just want to work for smokos, lunch breaks, and holidays.
Now, just you steady on. We do our share.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I think that Australia is the greatest place in the world.
Yeah, that's why you shot through to America.
Well, I came back.
But not to stay. As soon as you get into strife, you're bending over backwards to get back. Yeah, with a damn decent mob of Aussies out there demonstrating, trying to help you.
But that's because my family's there. Oh, hell. Oh, there's nowhere in the world like Australia.
Your innocent Mrs. Kennedy has made at least 3 large heroin drops into this country. This is the first time they've been able to catch her with the goods.
I was wondering when you'd show up, Bee.
I'm not surprised, because you're in trouble, Grandma. Big trouble.
Oh, that's very observant of you, Bee. I've got 20 years in the pen, and you tell me I'm in trouble. I should never have known.
Don't you get too clever with me, Kennedy. You might be too old to give a thumping, but there's more than one way of dealing with your kind.
Now, just a minute, Bee. You've got me down as a pusher. Well, I'm not, and I never have been. Okay, so I had a fair idea of what I was carrying, but I didn't know for sure. And I figured as long as I didn't, it didn't matter. I mean, as long as the money was all...
You filthy old hypocrite. Where do you think that money came from? Kids, very sick kids.
Oh, yes, honey, I know, and it's very sad, but we're all given the same chances in life now.
My God! You're worse than I thought. Well, I don't give much for your chances, lady, not when the others find out what fools you've made of them.
Don't you underestimate me, Bee. I've taken out a little insurance in case of anything like that happening.
Oh, this should be good.
It is. My lawyer is getting a letter tomorrow, and he has instructions to open it if anything happens to me.
Or complete with a list of names and mine at the top, right?
Something like that.
Nice try, Kennedy. But it won't work. You see, I've got nothing to lose. I'm here for the duration.
And what about the others? Don't you care about them?
Smith! Kennedy! Why aren't you in the dining room?
Just coming, Mrs. Reynolds.
Smith!
Just coming, Mrs. Reynolds. Well, let me tell you a few things about this dear little old lady. She has played all of us for a bunch of suckers. You see, I had a few words with the top brass today, and the American State Department have been after her for years.
What for?
Drug running, but then we all knew that, didn't we? What we didn't know is that she's been doing it all over the world. She's killed kids in countries we haven't even heard of.
That is not true. I never sold it.
Oh, cut the crap, Kennedy. Now, just you think about it. If your grandchildren got hooked on dope, who would you blame? The pusher or the smuggler?
Oh, but that's different. They wouldn't. They're only kids. Well, they wouldn't.
You shouldn't be in here for smuggling, Kennedy. You should be in here for murder.
Okay. So I knew I was carrying drugs, but I didn't care. It was exciting, and I was free. And, well, I never thought, you know what B said about the kids. I never thought.
Maggie Mullins. You're a crazy old bugger.
You'll be leaving us tomorrow, Kennedy.
Oh.
You'll be going back to the United States. We've just received your extradition order.
Good old Uncle Sam. Oh, I knew he wouldn't let me down. Well, I shall get a better deal back there.
Yes, well, before you get too excited, I think you should hear the terms of extradition, Mrs. Reynolds. As agreed by both parties, Margaret May Kennedy will be returned to the United States of America and placed in a state penitentiary where she will serve the full sentence as handed down by the Australian courts. No deals, Kennedy. Just a change of scenery.
When I get back, I've got to serve my whole sentence.
Nah, don't give me that. The parole you like a shot.
Oh, you don't understand. There's not going to be any parole. Douglas just told me it's part of a deal they made with the States.
Well, 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 my heart bleeds for you. At least you won't be lousing up any more kids' lives.
I didn't want to louse up anyone's life. All I wanted was the bright lights and a bit of fun for myself. Well, that's not too much of no bugger to ask, is it? Now, all I've got is 20 years in the pen. I'll never really see the States again.
Well, at least you'll be able to see your grandchildren, love.
No way. My son-in-law isn't going to let them kids near a jail. He can't afford it in his line of business. All I've got to look forward to is a joint worse than this. You got what you wanted, B. I'm not going to get out until I kick the bucket. Oh, Lizzie, I know you've been a bit sore at me lately, but we were good mates once. Well, I couldn't go without giving you something for old time's sake. It's not very much, but here.
Oh, you didn't have to do that, Mag.
Of course I did. Couldn't leave you without any drinking money. And you can think of me when you look at that.
Oh, that's really nice of you, Mag. I haven't got anything for you, though.
That's okay.
Miami Beach looks really pretty.
Yeah, get boozed up enough and you can imagine you're there.
How'd you get the cash past the screws?
International smuggler, remember?
Oh, you crafty old bugger. You haven't changed, have you?
All right, come on, Kennedy. Get your things together. We're going to reception.
Oh. Goodbye, love. I'll think of you every time I look at that card.
Just have a drink for me. Well, see you in 40 years,
Move it, Kennedy.